Secession? That's all you got? Ah, gee. Hey, it's Reverend Sully, Eric O'Sullivan, ordained on the internet. The caveat, as always, please do not burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, then that's on you, pal, okay? Secession. Wow. That's the only answer you got for the nation's problems? Well, listen here, buddy. No. That's the dumbest idea I've heard since South Carolina did it back in 1861. I mean, geez. What are you... what is this? Like the result of divorce culture? Is this the result of disposable people, that relationships and family members are so easily cast aside and then labeled as other? We can have a USA number 1 and a USA number 2, and you can even be number 1, and you live in your place. No, who sold you on this? I'm going to say this out loud on the internet and to you. This is a commie plot. Yes. Has it ever occurred to you that America, one of the most, prominent, successful, admired countries on the planet and in history, has its enemies that wish to see its downfall? And if you don't see the fingerprints of our enemies all over this, then what are you thinking? You don't see, like, there's someone, a cui bono here, who profits? Who's profiting from secession in America? Who's profiting from the weakening of America? Well, other nations with other agendas and other things to profit from. To destabilize us as a country is really a boon for someone who's in competition with us. I mean, geez, I'm from the projects, the South Boston projects. It was, kill or be killed sometimes there, man. There's no BSing around. I can't be sold on bullshit because of that experience growing up in the South Boston projects. Who is trying to sell you that splitting the nation up is going to solve our problems? That is the most bullshit answer I think I've heard out of any, so-called intellectual in my short life here. I mean, seriously, to divorce? Is that your only answer? To go forward? I mean, fuck you. You fucking pussy. You coward. No, you would want to weaken this great country because of your inability to compromise and your inability to meet in the middle? Seriously, capitulation equals weakness? We must double down on everything? Fuck you. Seriously. I mean, who the fuck are you, pal? You have your right to free speech, and this is the consequence of it. People saying, no, you can take your idea and shove it up where the sun don't shine. To split the nation up? No, the union must be preserved. Listen, one finger can get you into a fight, but 5 united can get you out of one and keep you in the fight. I'm a pacifist. I don't want to fight anyone. I've seen what violence does. I've seen violence firsthand all my life. I've seen what gun violence does firsthand. I've seen domestic violence in my infancy to when I was a kid. Violence is, unfortunately part of the human condition, and it's something that we all must struggle with. But you know what? Splitting the country up on its own level is a kind of violence. Divorce is emotionally violent, especially for the children. I mean, that is not a solution. That is not going to solve any of America's problems. You want these people to be away from these people. I'm not going to get along with you because you agree with that. What happened to compromise? What happened to having a common ground? Who is selling you on the notion that compromise is a bad thing? This is a recent thing in history. Remember, the past 150 years or so has been a big thing in American history. In World War I, there was a new notion made, and it was called total war. With total war came total victory. And with total victory, that put Germany in this vulnerable state where they became so resentful to the rest of the world that they militarized and tried to get revenge and tried to expand its borders again. Because total war and total victory is a 20th century notion. Before that, wars were fought, but a lot of the times the treaties settled things. There was a negotiation. Borders did move here and there, but people remained. Their culture remained. And there was room to negotiate. But now, this sense of total war and total victory and total loss for your opponent is part of our makeup now, unfortunately, to the point where we carry this on in social media over petty arguments, over ideology, and especially in relationships too, such as, the absolute need for a divorce, which is the last, thing, that's your last stop in a relationship. But still, there is a sense of total war in divorce, and in most divorces. Some divorces, God bless you all if you're going through that or been through that. I've heard of very few where it's amicable. There's a negotiated settlement where both parties can walk away and even have a common ground, especially if there's children. But the notion of a total war with total victory, that's relatively new. Same there, and with the same thing with technology and with antibiotics and pills. These are all, also women's suffrage. Those are all concepts developed in the early 20th century. And that only happened about 120 years ago. That's not a lot of time when it comes to history. Sure, generationally, we've come from leaps and bounds. We went from Kitty Hawk to the moon in 70 years? That's impressive. That's amazing. And that's part of our human spirit too. It's amazing. I'm in love with us. I'm in love with what we've accomplished. But remember, total war and total victory are just one part of disputes. There's always room to negotiate, but you need to be able to compromise. Who gave you permission not to compromise? Who gave you permission to be a total asshole? You're not going to win any fights that way. Or if you do, you better put your enemy down. You better put him to the sword. Seriously, do you have a plan for your vanquished foes? I'm going to put the link for my Gilead argument right here. Seriously, if you're going to win, what are you going to do with your vanquished foes if you don't put them to the sword? But seriously, breaking up the country just because this one doesn't want to take the medicine and this one doesn't want to wear the facial thing, or this one is a red and this one is a blue. We're all purple and bruised by now. There needs to be a common ground. I would like to represent the middle and tell you both to shut the fuck up and get along, or you're not getting McDonald's and you're not seeing Disney World. Seriously, who the fuck gave you permission to be so friggin' divisive? And this isn't helping. Well, I don't think I'm helping either. I'm just a guy with a hot take. And if you like this kind of hot take, well, give me a thumbs up. If you think I'm full of shit, sometimes I am, give me a thumbs down. I'm a big lad. I can take it. Leave a comment in the comment section. What do you think? Secession? Do you think it would actually work? You think breaking up the Union is going to make us a stronger nation and a stronger people? Yeah, sure. Leave a comment if you think so. I'd like to hear what you have to say. And give me a subscribe if you'd like. I also make very positive material about pop culture, spirituality, theology, and cooking. I'm a professional chef with cooking hacks that I'm going to share with you. Well, thank you so much. But yeah, secession, splitting the nation up, that is not the way. And if someone's trying to sell you on that, you should tell them a thing or two. And it could be fuck off. And pardon my French, but hey, some people need to be told that. it's good to have conditions. And one of the conditions might be, who gave you permission to try to break us up? Huh? Who, cui bono? Who profits? Thank you very much. Namaste, and God bless us. And God bless America. All of us. Cheers.